Well, time's getting closer to hunting season. Just put our cameras out a few weeks ago, or maybe like 2 weeks ago now. But a new rule came out here for this piece that we're hunting here in Kansas, where you gotta have your KDWP or KWDP number, however the hell that acronym is. Gotta have that number posted so you can actually visually see it on your camera. So now I got to go back out there and remark all my cameras so I can be in compliance with the new regulations. So we're gonna head out there, and figured I'd take y'all along and show you kind of where we got the cameras set up this year. And we got 5 of them, so it's gonna be a long day. It's already 73 degrees out. I think it's the 9th of July. It's gonna be a warm one. Let's get after it. Alright, well, we are to our first spot here where we put our camera out. It's gonna be a long, shitty walk. It's only like 600 yards or something like that, but still not fun, especially with all the ticks and the tall grass that we're gonna have to walk through. I'm not too worried about being quiet through here. There's a lot of commotion that usually going on in here, so it shouldn't be too disturbed. But I did have one thing I wanted to bring up, so let me know what y'all think after we talk about this real quick. What are your feelings on Kansas this year banning trail cameras from public land? And I'm pretty sure that goes for all privately owned weehaws that the farmers lease out to the wildlife department for hunting use. But yeah, they are banning trail cameras on that public land. So this land that I'm hunting is actually not technically considered public, but it is at the same time. It's the federal land, so they're kind of under their own guidelines here. So but I'm thinking after this season they're probably going to ban them completely on federal public. I don't think they'll go as far as banning them from private, but they might. Just let me know down in the comments what y'all think about that, and if you think it's good that they want to ban trail cameras, or if you think it's bad. In my opinion, I don't think it gives you too much of an advantage, because by the time the deer is in front of that camera, what are you gonna do? If you're not there, you're gonna go into the tree stand and hopefully get him? No. It might make it easier for you to pattern him. But I mean, that's about the only advantage. But I don't know, you let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on this, and I'm gonna walk this nice shitty walk and probably be covered in ticks here in the moment. So it's gonna be great. See y'all in a minute. All right, well, I made it to my first camera. It's much warmer in these woods where there's no wind, which sucks, but made it to the first camera. I just took it off the tree right now. This was the tree that I just had it on, and it was overlooking all this down in here. We've had quite a few deer through here already, but yeah, we're gonna mark this camera. It's a good little spot, I think, and I think these deer actually live up in here in bed, up on this island, or this peninsula type thing right here. But yeah, we'll probably just keep this camera here. So let's mark it. Let's be on our way. just like that, we're done. So let's get the hell out of here and move on to the next couple of cameras. Let's go. Before I leave, I'll show you how thick this is in here. Super thick. But pretty sure most of them are going to come from this way. Up here, come down. Or they're going to come down this low bottom, hug this bottom of this ridge, and they walk straight through here. So, should be pretty good. Can't wait for the season. So if there's one thing I've learned over the years from hunting, and especially since I've been out here in Kansas, as I just jump a deer right over there by the edge of the woods, is that the deer don't always need that real thick, nasty, wooded area. Maybe during like a hot day or during the heat of the day during the summer, they might go in there, find a secluded area. But I'll tell you that more times than not, a buck is going to find a draw or something in the woods where the wind will eventually hit him in the face. What I mean by that is he might find a little bowl in there where the wind's gonna swirl and it's gonna eventually come up to him, or it's just gonna be straight wind to him. He's gonna have something in the background behind him that he knows is gonna keep him safe. So that's one thing I've learned about bucks when they go into the woods. That's usually right around where they hang out. Also, that being said, all this behind me, it's about 6 to 7 feet tall. Even some of it might be 8 feet tall. Now, it looks like it's in the middle of the wide open, which is because it is. And a lot of people think that as long as they handrail the woods or they walk through the middle of a field or something, that they're not going to kick anything up and there should be clean shot straight to their tree. Or, hey, I created a path right next to this stuff so I could get in there unseen. But more times than not, that deer is going to know that you're coming, because if you're in a field like this with a bunch of different types of grasses, which is there's a bedding area right here, so it's got just enough cover for them to get down, and it's nice and thick, different variety of vegetation in here. That's what they're looking for. All right, so they don't have to go far for their food. They get the majority of their water actually from the plants, so it's not that big a deal when you're like, oh well, I have a camera set up on a watering hole and the deer just aren't going there. Well, if it's not super hot, they're not going to want to walk over there. They're just going to get most of their moisture from the grass and the greens, whatever they're eating out here. Now, sometime they'll head out there and they'll go get some water. But it's probably not going to be where your camera is. It's going to be in a less visible area, unless you're literally in like western Kansas or something, so they don't have much to choose from and that's the only water around. But I'm not in western Kansas, so that's not usually the case here. They're going to find a secluded water area where they can get in and get out unseen, unheard, and just untouched. But all of this is prime bedding area over here, and I think that's something that more people need to look at if they want to be successful. So if you're walking by it, they probably see you, they probably smell you, they probably hear you. So take the hard route in, even if that means walking an extra quarter mile, half mile. You got to do what you got to do to get around that buck and outsmart him. More times than not, they're going to be laying in this wide open out here in Kansas. And that's just where they bed, because they know that's where they're the safest. So keep that in mind next time you head out there. Don't overlook the fields that are grown up, because they're probably bedded in there. I've already got quite a few pictures of some nice bucks next to an opening like this, where I found a real nice bedding area. It looked just like that over here to my right, and I kicked up a couple bucks out of there last year, so went in there this year, put a camera. Within the first 3 days, I had 2 shooters on camera. So I would say don't overlook it, and definitely just try to put a camera up next to it and stay away from it. And if you want to hunt it, make sure you get in there maybe a rainy day, or less crunchy sounding day, I should say. Maybe it's in the morning, catch them coming back to bed early season, or catch them leaving their bed if you can sneak in there early season as well. Obviously when the rut comes and the pre-rut comes, it's not really a huge concern, because they're usually up and on their feet anyway, and not just in their bedding area. So again, just wanted to talk about that real quick, because a lot of people, I think, overlook that type of stuff, and they just walk on by it and they think they got to get into the thickest, deepest part of the woods, which is totally false. So as long as you put the work in, and even if you wind bump, or you just want to set up from a good lookout area and watch it for an evening, I'll bet you see some decent deer moving through there. So keep that in mind. I'm gonna go check these other cameras. We'll see you there. All right, and we're back now with, I think it'll be my favorite spot this year. There are massive amounts of soybean fields here. Way out there. That's probably 1,000 yards, if not more. Easy. There are some monster buck tracks in here, and I've already had a bunch of nice bucks come through here on camera. I'm super excited about this spot. Probably come out here and glass it for a while as the season gets closer, and as they hopefully start to be fully grown. Like I said, it's only July 9th, so they got another month and a half almost of growing before they harden their racks. But yeah, we're gonna have to walk pretty good little ways over here to go get to the camera, but trying to avoid a lot of this. Most of this was corn. Actually, all of it was corn last year, but this year they changed it up and did soybeans. And you want to talk about a food source for these deer. Man, there's some big tracks out here, but I think this ought to be fun. There's a helicopter crop dusting the cornfields over there. So, yep, I'm gonna head in here and I'll meet you at the camera. All right, we just retrieved camera number 2 right here, rocking that old Muddy Cell camera. Had it for 3 or 4 years whenever they first came out, but an elk had knocked the antenna down, so I'm glad I came back out anyway to fix it. But I'm actually gonna move it. I don't quite know where to move it. Had some pretty good deer over here. Might just leave it over here, but kind of change up the angle of it. See if I can catch them actually out here feeding. So I think I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna mark it. I'm gonna get the hell out of here. But this place is beautiful. And I think I'm gonna hunt here all early season. So let's put it back up. And now we're gonna be moving to camera 3. Let's go. So can't really film too much else other than the spots that I'm really focusing on, because a lot of this is super well known, and I know a lot of the locals and everyone that hunts here, they'd like to kind of keep it as secluded as they can from the rest of the public. I know that sounds unfair and everything, but I mean, you got to respect the people who hunt this stuff every single year and who have been for pretty much their entire lives or their entire careers, as long as they've been here. So I really try not to get much that's too identifiable in here, but you know, we're on to camera number 3. It's already almost 1 o'clock. Hot out. It doesn't feel too hot, but the wind's not really picking up too much out here. But we'll go check these cameras. They've been acting up a little bit. Haven't received pictures in a few days, so we'll check on them, see what's going on with them. But we'll see you at the next camera. Alright, so now we're getting into the spot where I killed my buck last year. It's a 149-inch buck. Well, speaking of deer, just like I said, prime example right here. I'm actually going to walk right up to where he was bedded. It's just a young little buck, but I'm going to show you exactly what I was talking about. So, this stuff right here, all right here, this is where he was bedded. Now you can go in here, you can find their beds. Look at that, there's a bed right here. I know it's a little hard to tell. There's bed, another bed. They're all over in this stuff. Okay, so this is exactly what I was talking about. They're not in the actual woods. Okay, yeah, that couldn't have worked out any better. Just proves my point right here. This is the type of stuff that you need to look for. He didn't jump until I was probably 20 yards away from him, and then he went down into that little draw. So super cool. But anyway, like I was trying to say, I am going into the spot where I shot my buck last year. It's a really nice little area in here. Lots of buck activity that goes back and forth across this top of this ridge right here. And each side of this is super thick, and it drops down real low, like real low. I think it's like probably 200 foot drop down into these bottoms here. But they love this stuff. They can see they're in the rut. This is where they do a lot of their chasing, down in, from draw to draw to draw to draw. So again, this is the stuff that I'm just trying to make y'all aware of. If you know, that's good. I'm glad you know already. But just trying to help out people that may not have picked up on any of that before. Thought I just kicked up another deer. I may have, but like I said, I know a lot of y'all are probably thinking, oh well, you don't know that it's not like that here. It might be different because I'm in Missouri or I'm in Iowa. It might be different. Sure, it might be, but there are many similarities in a lot of places. After all, they are white-tailed deer, so they all generally do similar things. But just trying to come out here and show you some areas and kind of where I set up my cameras and what I look for. So we're gonna head down to this other camera and check it because it hasn't sent me pictures in a few days. Here's our next camera location. Set it up right here. And muddy, facing out this way. All these deer coming down from the ridge, walking the ridge bottom here, and coming out, wanting to come up top. Then this turns into a nice big open field down there. This trail comes right through the middle, right here. Well, one of the harsh realities of paying cheap and getting what you pay for, a lot of corrosion on there. Something leaked in there, corroded that away. Let's see if we can get a better look. Not really, but it looks like it melted the shit out of the circuit board down there, and it makes it so that's super hard, which sucks. Looks like we lost the camera. Oh well, had it for 3 or 4 years now, and I'll call Muddy. We'll see what they say about it, but we're Stealth Cam. I know they're owned by them, but kind of shitty, but it comes with the territory of running cameras. Stupid things happen. There's nothing you can really do about it. So we'll pack this camera up and we'll get out of here, move on to the next one. So that's really weird. Got to my last camera here, and this is how I found it. Just like that. Wide open, tinted down. SD card still in there and everything, so I don't know what happened, but I'm getting a lot of elk coming through here. Nice bull, young bull in velvet. But yep, I guess I'm probably gonna move this camera, honestly, because last year I didn't get a whole lot of big bucks, or big mature bucks anyway, on here. I had a few young ones, smaller racks, but I got mostly does just walking through here. So I think I'm gonna move it over towards that bedding area where the other camera is, or down towards some soybeans. I think I'll probably go with the soybeans. But all right, couldn't really talk on the way in here because super windy out in that open field, and it would have just sounded like shit on the camera. So we're here. This is our 4th camera. We're gonna take it, go to the last one, go back to the truck, put the last camera out, and then mark it, and then we'll be good for today. But well, I think this is gonna be it for the video for today. Definitely covered a lot of ground here, and got to my cameras, marked them. We're gonna hit one more camera up, place that over, leave that there by the bedding area, and move this one over to a food source. Less of a travel corridor, because obviously they're just not gonna be traveling a whole lot through here. They're gonna be closer to the food. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end it here, and we'll see you next time. Go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more content. If you have any questions about what we're doing here and kind of what we're about, go ahead and hit us in the comments, and I'll be sure to hit you back. So appreciate everything. We'll see y'all next time.